Hi, this is Yuri Zolov, a professional hypnotist and author of Hypnotize Your Husband, How to Make Him Love You, Only You, and Nobody Else But You. In this video, we're going to discuss, and I'm going to show you exact step-by-step algorithm that you can use easily to non-verbally hypnotize your husband to do whatever you like, starting with loving you, being more romantic to you, being sexually and socially attracted to you, and feeling that you're the only woman in his life. Now, how do we do that? We do that without saying anything. We're doing it non-verbally. What we have discussed in our previous video is that we're going to make him feel certain feelings, but first we create that feeling in ourselves, then we go into rapport. Now, rapport is this state that you probably heard salesmen talk about. When you match someone's breathing, match their posture, feel like you are one with them, and suddenly magic happens, because that's how our brains work, that's how our unconscious works, that they feel the same feelings that you do, they feel connected to you, and suddenly they start feeling the feelings you're feeling. So if we want to make somebody love us, all we need to do is create that loving feeling inside of us. And then we go into rapport and they start feeling this feeling, but they have no idea why. This is what we discussed in our previous video, and now I'm going to show you exactly what to do. So how do you create a feeling of love and romantic infatuation that we want your husband to feel towards you? Well, first I have to create that inside of you. So how do we do that? Sometimes if you read a book, let's say a romantic novel, you feel all those feelings. Now, why do you feel those feelings? Because as you read the novel, you imagine certain pictures that author of the novel wants you to imagine. You just see those pictures with your internal eye, and those pictures evoke feelings. So even if now you remember a certain romantic moment of your past, some of that feeling comes back. Maybe a little tiny bit of that feeling, but it does come back. So here is a big secret. The more big is our internal picture, the stronger the feelings are. And all of us think in words, feelings, pictures. Sometimes we're not aware of the fact that we see pictures in our mind, that we imagine things. We think we don't see any pictures. However, if I ask you, what was the color of your first front door in your first house that you ever lived in, you immediately give me an answer. But you give this answer really by seeing with your internal mind that picture of that front door. So we all see those pictures. So just trust me on this. You do see pictures, everybody does. I am a very, very feeling person. I am a lot into my feelings, a lot into my thoughts. I'm a very audio person. I'm a lot into sounds. I'm a musician by hobby and a hypnotist by practice, which means I work a lot with my voice. But still, I also see pictures, although I'm not really aware of them. But I know how to make them bigger, though. So do you. So what I want you to do, you can have your eyes open, you can close them. Closing them would be easier if you want to imagine it vividly. Go into your mind and just imagine or think about that very moment that you felt really deeply in love. Remember where you were, what you were doing, feel what you felt, hear what you heard, and imagine as you are there now. And notice how your state changes, how your internal feelings change. And now, as you have done this, make the colors of that image brighter and notice how your feelings change again. They become more vivid. They become more colorful. The feelings become more colorful with the image. That's right. So make now this picture into a movie. Like you're there and things are moving as they would usually do so. Make everything 3D, very panoramic. The sounds are very clear and bright. And notice how your feelings become even stronger. Now, at the very peak of those feelings, I want you to squeeze your middle finger and your thumb together on your left hand. Squeeze your middle finger and your thumb together on your left hand. That's right. Now release the fingers. Open your eyes if your eyes were closed. What we have done is called an anchor. This is something from what they call NLP, but really NLP took it from hypnosis, from old hypnotists and old traditions of hypnosis. So what does anchor does? Anchor takes a certain bodily sensation and associates it with a certain feeling. So, for example, when I cure people of drinking habits, what I know they want is not the taste of the alcohol, they want that state. I teach them to take that state and have it again by an anchor, so they don't need to drink anymore. The same way there was a Russian scientist, Pavlov, and people who trained me trained actually with him, because as you can hear by my accent, I am Russian by origin, and I have trained in very serious Russian schools from people who worked with KGB, and I know a lot about hypnosis that other hypnotists in America don't know. So what you're discovering now is fairly exclusive stuff. So what Pavlov did, he had dogs, and he trained those dogs. Every time they hear a bell, they were having some food. The bell rings, a dog gets some food. Well, at a certain point, when the bell rings and there is no food, the dog starts to salivate. Now, the reason why the dog starts to salivate is because it expects, okay, we're getting some food, I'm getting some food, give me my food. And that's called association. So that's an anchor. There's a response, immediate response to a certain sound. We're doing the same thing. You, at the very moment where you felt this strong feeling, you just created an anchor. So the next time you squeeze your thumb and your middle finger on your left hand, this feeling will return. And then I will show you how to intensify that feeling so it's really strong. So when you go into rapport with your husband, you will go into this very, very strong state of pleasant connection, and he will go in a state of deep love towards you. So what we're going to do now, we're going to evoke that feeling again. Squeeze your thumb and your middle finger on your left hand and notice how this feeling goes back. Now, you will notice that every feeling that we have doesn't just stay somewhere. It kind of moves a little bit. Sometimes it moves like this. Sometimes it moves like this. Sometimes it moves like pulsating. Well, what I want you to do now is to take that pulsation and allow it to go with more intensity and at a stronger rate. So if it's moving like this, allow it to move stronger and faster. If it's pulsating, allow it to pulsate. If it's moving like this, allow it to pulsate further. Then allow it to take more and more of your body. Just bathe yourself in that feeling. That's right. Just allow yourself to bathe in that good feeling. Just trust it. Trust the process. Trust it. That's good. Now squeeze the fingers again, and then we re-anchor it in. So now the anchor is stronger. Release the fingers. That's right. So at the moment, when you're with your husband, you will breathe at the same rate as his. You kind of monitor his posture a little bit and go into the same posture. He may be just watching TV and he's distracted. Or he may be talking to you. Or it could be during dinner and he's eating. And what you do, you squeeze those two fingers. Allow this feeling to grow inside of you. Play with that feeling. Make it stronger and stronger and intensify it again and again and again. Allow it to just go in you, and you will notice that his state changes. And all you need to do at this moment is start talking to him, so he starts looking at you. Now what happens? Well, what happens is the same thing that happens to Pavlov's dogs. He has the feeling. In case of dogs, it was hunger. In case of your husband, it's going to be love and romantic passion, which we now intensify. I gave it to him, and he will be looking at you, and that will be his anchor. He will feel that feeling while looking at you. So you do it once, you do it 2 times, you do it 3 times, you do it 4 times, and he is like Pavlov's dog. Anytime the bell rings, The dog salivates. Every time your husband looks at you, he feels love, romantic infatuation. And you can do the same thing with sexuality as well. What you would do with sexuality, you would imagine a very sexual scene that arouses you. Now you take that feeling and you intensify it, you make the colors brighter, you anchor it differently. You can take a different finger, you can take your fifth finger and squeeze it this way, and then you intensify it, and then you go to your husband. You do exactly the same thing. So this is how you can make your husband fall in love with you, guaranteed. This is called nonverbal hypnosis, which means you don't have to utter a word. And I can show you how you can do more. You can do verbal hypnosis. You can make him do whatever you want. You can make him, clean the dishes, buy you things, and stop talking to people you don't want him to talk to, stop drinking or smoking. All of those things are possible. Let's just start with something you can do immediately. So I invite you to go and do that today, to really practice this strong good feeling. And that actually is very pleasant for you as well. And put that feeling into him and let him look at you at the moment that he feels that feeling and anchor that feelings towards you. So if you have any questions for me, do leave me here on this page. There is a comment section. Just leave those questions, leave your experiences. If you have tried something already, I'm all ears. I want to know what are your results. And I really want to know what happened. So, in the next video, I'm going to tell you further how you can verbally hypnotize your husband, how you can take control of your relationship with your husband and make him do whatever you want. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you very, very soon.